calling the meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, January 11, 2021 regular meeting of the Bell Gardens Successor Agency to the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order. Pursuant to Executive Order N2920, please be advised that members of the Bell Gardens Successor Agency will participate in today's meeting telephonically. Agency members and staff are participating from remote locations. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city website as noted on the agenda. If any agency members should have a conflict of interest virtually, please leave the room by turning off video and muting yourself. You may still keep listening to the meeting. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilwoman Alejandra Cortez. If you can please help us out with that, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, please stand. Put your right hand over your heart, ready to begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilmember Cortez. Now we will have a roll call.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Chair. Agency members Chavez,
Present.
Cortez,
Present.
Flores,
Present.
Vice Chair Polito,
Present.
and Chair Barcena.
Present. Thank you, City Clerk. We will now move to the first item on the agenda. Public participation is now open. Agency Secretary, are there any public speakers?
There are no public speakers that have signed up, Mayor.
Okay, if there's no objection by the agency members, I will close public participation. We will now move to the consent calendar. We have two items on the consent calendar, 1 through 2. Does any member of the agency wish to pull an item for separate discussion? Okay, seeing none, I would like to now call for a motion to approve the item on the consent calendar.
I'll move to approve. Councilwoman Cortez.
Okay, Councilmember Cortez.
I'll second that. Councilmember Chavez.
Councilmember Chavez seconds that. Can we have a vote, please?
Can we do a roll call, Mayor?
Yes, we're gonna go ahead and do a roll call. I will start off with Councilmember Chavez.
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Flores.
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Pulido.
Yes.
And Councilmember Cortez.
Yes.
Yes for myself also, so that is approved. Motion passes. We will now move to public participation for non-agenda items. Public participation is now open. Agency Secretary, are there any speakers?
There are no speakers, Mayor.
Okay, if there's no objection by the agency members, I will close public participation. Does any agency member wish to make a comment? Seeing none, we're going to, if there's no objection by the successor agency, I will adjourn the successor agency meeting at 6:10 p.m. and call order to the city council meeting.
Present.
Councilmember Cortez,
Present.
Councilmember Flores,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Polito,
Present.
and Mayor Barcena.
Present. Closed session report. City Attorney, will you please give the closed session report?
I'd be happy to. Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The time is 6:12 p.m. The City Council is now in open session, having met in closed session to discuss the two items posted on tonight's agenda. With respect to both items, the City Council received a report from city staff. Feedback was provided, but no final action was taken in closed session tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, are there any speakers?
There are no speakers for this item, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. City Clerk, will you please announce the public participation information? Is that all we have? No speakers whatsoever?
There are no
Okay.
comments.
Okay. Then. If there's no objection by the City Council, I will close public participation. City Manager, can you please provide your City Manager report?
Thank you, Mayor Barsana. I'd just like to reflect back on the holiday season. There was a tremendous amount of giving within the city of Bell Gardens, and I just want to recognize and thank a few agencies. So I'd like to thank Adriana's Insurance. They provided toys for 500 families 6 or 7 days before the holidays, and I'm sure that was appreciated by those that received toys in the community. I'd also like to thank Dell Records. Dell Records also did a toy distribution of 5,000 toys, which definitely can only bring a lot of joy to people during the holiday seasons, especially children. So I just want to thank Angel and Brian and those over at Dell Records for doing that. Also like to mention to thank the casino, thank OSI Staffing, Crescent Food Bank, and the Bell Gardens Lions Club, in addition to the city council and city staff. We had a toy and food distribution also a few days before Christmas with a very festive holiday decorations and elves jumping around. We did 1,500 meal packs that are about 60 pounds each that were distributed to residents of Bell Gardens, and also distributed about 3,000 toys. And even though the holidays are over, that doesn't necessarily stop the giving. So I just want to remind council and announce that in honor of Martin Luther King National Day of Service on the 18th and the COVID Memorial on the 19th, the city will be coordinating a food distribution for 1,000 Bell Gardens residents at 11 a.m. at Ford Park. So that's Tuesday, January 19th, 11 a.m. at Ford Park. This is going to be a COVID-safe event, so we are asking to not have volunteers this time, as staff is going to be able to better control gloves, masks, and the whole process. So that'll be coming forward. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor Barsana.
Thank you, City Manager, for your update. Now we'll move on to the consent calendar. There are 8 items on the consent calendar. Does any member of the City Council wish to pull any item for separate discussion? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll move to approve. Councilwoman Cortez?
Councilwoman Cortez has made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Pulido. I will go ahead and take a vote now. Chavez?
Yes.
Thank you. Flores?
Yes.
Thank you. Cortez?
Yes.
Thank you. Pulido?
Yes.
And yes, for myself, the motion passes. Okay, so now we are going to discussion item number 9. Discussion item number 9 will be a local commissions appointment list. The local commissions appointment list outlines the City of Bell Gardens commissions and commissioners. For the Bell Gardens Municipal Code, city commissions consist of Bell Gardens residents appointed by each member of the City Council. Council members may remove commissioners during any regular City Council meeting and may appoint commissioners following 10 days after the posting of the vacancy notice. The recommendation here is, it is staff recommendation that the City Council review the commission's appointments list and by motion remove commissioners and or make appointments to the posted vacancies. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. Jane, before I proceed, I have a question for you. And if I'm swapping commissioners from one commission to another, is there a period where it has to remain vacant? Or can I just do the immediate swap right now based on our policy?
I believe we'd have to notice that if it's still filled, there would have to be a vacancy in order for you to make a swap.
I think Councilmember Flores, just to clarify for the city clerk, so you have a commissioner that currently sits on, let's say, the Recreation Commission, and you would like to appoint them to a vacancy that you may have on, let's say, the Education Commission. You're just asking if that would be appropriate. So the Education Commission seat is vacant and open, if you could just move somebody into that spot, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So that would be
Okay.
possible, right?
Yeah, so I think the question then would be is if you move the person from the Rec Commission to the Education Commission, does that give enough time for you to put somebody into the Recreation Commission? Have we met the noticing?
Yeah, we'd have to notice it, Councilmember Flores. We'd have to notice the vacancy.
Okay, so at this point, I'd like to appoint Isabel Guillen to the Parks and Recreation Commission and Christian Mendez to the Education Commission.
Do we have any other nominations?
Yes. I would like to appoint Francis de Leon Rivera for the Education Commission, Tony Rivera for the Planning Commission, Victor Casas for the Recreation, Cultural, and Youth Commission, and Jason Gavilanes for Traffic and Safety Commission.
Mayor Barcena, if I may.
Yes, please.
I'd also like to nominate Miguel Angel de la Rosa for the Planning Commission and Jose Carlos Barrera for the Traffic and Safety Commission.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, I would like to make a motion to approve the list of nominations, and with the exception of Councilwoman Flores' nominations. And I want to clarify my motion. The reason why I would like to exclude those nominations temporarily will be because we are actually conducting an investigation, and we would like to have all the correct information before we actually take an important vote like this one. So I will go ahead and make a motion to approve all of the
Before we
nominations.
continue, the
with the
investigation
exception.
has not been.
Madam Flores, you're speaking out of order. I will
Okay.
allow you to provide a comment in due time.
Well, before you make a motion.
Madam Mayor, I am talking right now.
Councilwoman
We will
Flores.
allow you, right. Councilwoman Lizeth Flores, can you please not speak out of order so that we can continue with this
Can you please
process?
allow me the time to speak before you make a motion to deny my request?
Absolutely, I will allow you to have your comment immediately after I finish my motion, so.
Mr. Mayor, what I'd recommend is that we have a first, which I think we have, and a second. After we have a second, then at that point, that would be the appropriate time to have a discussion.
Thank you, Rick. So that is my motion there. Do I have a second?
I'll go ahead and second that motion, Mayor.
Okay, and please, Councilwoman Lizeth Flores, please go ahead and provide your comment.
Yes, I made two motions regarding your investigation. Which of my people that I've appointed to a commission is interfering with your investigation?
There is no one is interfering with any investigation. We just need to be able to make responsible decisions about who we are going to vote on for the commissions. Therefore, I would like to do my due diligence and allow this investigation to conclude in order to move forward.
Okay, so for clarification purposes, is there an investigation or is there not an investigation?
As I mentioned, there is a current investigation, an ongoing investigation, and I am looking forward to concluding that investigation in order to proceed with the vote. But for now, it'll be a temporary no. So we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward now to, unless there are any other motions that we will need to entertain. Does anyone have any other motions?
Yes, I just for clarification purposes, to the rest of my colleagues, I made a motion to appoint Isabel Guillen to the Recreational Commission and Christian Mendez to the Educational Commission. Anybody else is welcome to second that motion.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lisa Flores. Is there a second for that motion? Okay. We will go ahead and
So
move.
Mayor, just for the record, there was no second to the motion made by Councilmember Flores. Therefore, her motion fails. And I believe the motion on the table now is to approve all of the nominations with the exception of Councilmember Flores. And I believe there was a first and a second. So at this time, it would be appropriate to do a roll call vote.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. And I will go ahead and do a roll call vote. And we will start with Councilmember Chavez.
Yes.
Yes for Councilmember Chavez. Councilmember Flores.
Yes, I approve the nominations of Maria Pulido and Jorge Chavez.
Thank you, madam. And now we are going to ask for a Cortez vote,
Yes.
Pulido's vote,
Yes.
and just for myself, so the motion passes. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. So we're moving on to public participation now on non-agenda items. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, are there any speakers?
We have no speakers. We did receive one email from Mark Alamillo, and I'll go ahead and read his email.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, City Council, City Administration, and residents. First, thank you, Mayor Barcena, for taking the time to hear my concerns regarding large gatherings with 5 musical entertainment on Sunday, December 20th. For months, I had attempted to reach and set up a meeting with our previous mayor to no avail. I am confident with your steadfast action, you will continue to move this city forward. With almost 1 million COVID cases in the county of Los Angeles and Bell Gardens being one of the top 25 most affected city communities with current cumulative confirmed COVID-19 cases, and as of today, 48 members of our community succumbing to this deadly virus, it is important to expect and demand our government at all levels, including city, address concerns regarding COVID-19. Unfortunately, many in our community continue to have large gatherings that included live entertainment with disregard to public health. In the past, I have contacted the police department regarding live entertainment, loud music past 10 p.m., and nothing becomes of it. Often those calls do not get addressed because there is no current city code that would give them the power to issue citations for such violation. Empty threats from our officers fall on deaf ears because residents know citations are never given. This is why I ask you, Mayor, along with members of the council, to review our outdated noise regulation, Chapter 16.24. The last time this chaptered municipal code was updated was in 1971. City Attorney Rick Oliveras is an experienced attorney who I am confident would bring up to date our municipal code. I know this can happen because it was I who brought concerns regarding RVs parked on city streets to our council and pushed for years for a code to be chaptered, and it happened. As a resident, I also expect you, Mayor Barcena, along with every member of the council, to advocate County Supervisor Solis, along with our 2 representatives, to not leave this community behind when it comes to the COVID vaccine rollout. You should be pushing, like many other cities, the use of our city facilities to be used as COVID vaccine sites so that our most vulnerable residents don't continue to be left behind. Thank you for your time. Resident Mark Alamillo. And that's the only comment we have, Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Now we'll move on to City Council member comments. We are going to ask our Council Member Chavez if he has any comments.
Thank you, Mayor Barcena. I just wanted to express the joy of Happy New Year. I know this is our first meeting back in 2021. Let's hopefully we have a better year this year. I was listening. I don't want to make my comment too long, but I was listening to the daily podcast today, and it seems that the issue isn't necessarily about COVID. There not being enough vaccines. The issue seems to be in regards to the rolling out of the vaccines. So there's been a variety of cases in which we've seen different states take different approaches to putting them out. Some states have different phases in which they're processing the COVID vaccines. So certain populations are included. Give you an example. I think in Ohio, if you're age 65 and up, you're eligible to be in the first phase. In Florida, if you're age 75 and up, you're eligible to be in the first phase, right? So every state is different. But I bring that up and along the lines of COVID vaccines because I've been trying to do some research as far as COVID testing sites as well at places where our community can go ahead and try to outreach and get these resources. So today, for example, I went ahead and I shared on my personal social media in regards to a COVID location that was opened last week in the city of Huntington Park. It's the Raul Ramon Park. I think it's down Alameda. And they have no appointment necessary, no ID required, no insurance needed, walk-up site, right? So seeing if maybe as a region together we can do something to continually provide these resources for our residents, right? I don't think it's just Bell Gardens thing. I think it's all over. So I went ahead and I called the city of Huntington Park earlier this morning to confirm whether appointment was necessary, and there wasn't. So I know Huntington Park has one. Southgate and Tweedy as well has another one. Southgate Park has another COVID testing site. The city of Maywood, their own city hall is a COVID testing location, right? So I think it's very important. Here in our city of Bell Gardens, I know Gardens Medical Center right here, not too far, a couple like a block away. You go there Monday through Saturday from like they open at 9 to like about 4 p.m. You'll see the line wrapped around. At least this is from my point of view. I think last week, right after that New Year's gathering, New Year's celebration. So it just kind of it goes to show how much the need is in regards to COVID testing locations, as well as moving forward. We got to turn these COVID vaccine testing locations into vaccine rollout locations, right? Because it seems that the issue isn't necessarily that there isn't enough vaccines. The rolling out of having them being distributed is what has been the issue. So I think I was listening in that at least here in from my perspective, I think in LA County, we're starting to just, we got to get as many people get this shot as soon as possible, right? So it's not necessarily about the phases. I think it's about just if you want to take it, go for it, right? And that's the approach, because a lot of times, a lot of our community has had misconceptions, right? Or they didn't. It was a little, they were unsure about it, right? So I think we're starting to see a lot more of the community seeing the benefits of getting this vaccine shot. So I mean, getting the vaccine shot. So again, want to touch holiday break. Hopefully everyone had a safe holiday. And I'm trying to see, I got a call back in December, and then I got a call maybe about 2 hours ago prior to this meeting in regards to a resident saying that about rent control, right? So I know it's something that I mentioned my first meeting in the city council in December last month, and it's something that I think that we should continue to look at, right? So they've been saying that their rent has increased this month. So it's something that I went ahead and I reassured the resident that I'm pretty sure he's not they're not the only one that are going through this, but it's very important that we continue to work on that. Let's see. Also, another thing, sidewalk. I don't know if Director Chow is in the call. I went ahead and I want to thank Chow on something. So. as many of you know, when I was campaigning, I was riding my skateboard around the city. So my skateboard, obviously it's on wheels, and oftentimes my skateboard would get stuck on the ramps, sometimes on the sidewalks, because sometimes our sidewalks are lifted, or sometimes the sidewalks are lifted, and it's a little bit you can almost I almost tripped and fell. And I remember I took a couple videos of them around the city when I would be skateboarding, and I went ahead and I sent this inquiry to Director Chow in regards to it, and I saw that earlier today. It's already all cleaned up. So I'll be continually mentioning these, and I want to make sure that our community sends them forward. Right. If you know of your sidewalk that's being lifted or whatnot, please send them over. Contact us. Call the city hall. And as well, reach out to us, right? I made my cell phone exclusive to the community, my personal number, and they can go ahead and reach out to me. And then finally, something that I want to bring out, because I know a lot of our community I saw a big community response, was street vending, right? So I think this last weekend, there was an instance in which right next to Ross and KFC, there's like the Rockview property that used to be the Rockview property, and there was a taco stand. A lady, actually, I was gonna try the tacos, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I went ahead and I reached out to her, and I said, "Ya se terminaron tan temprano?" And she said, "Oh, you know what? It turns out that we couldn't necessarily be here. There's some sort of permit requirement needed or something along those lines." But I know that there was a big community, and the community really spoke up about that. And I want to make sure that this council stands in supporting local vending and supporting our local vendors. So again, I'm going to go ahead and close it up with my comments. I appreciate the forum to be able to speak on tasks that I was doing throughout this past month and the holidays. So I look forward to sharing more of these tasks moving forward, and keep us busy. Send in those inquiries, reach out to us, whether that's through social media or our own personal emails or phone numbers. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Barcena.
Thank you, Councilmember Chavez. And now we are going to hear from Councilmember Cortez.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy New Year, happy holidays to everybody. Welcome back. I do want to provide some information with regards to the vaccine rollout. I do want to point our community to this website, vaccinate.lacounty.com, and we'll be sharing it through our social media sites so that you can investigate for yourself what phase, what tier you fall under. We're going based off phases and based off tiers. I know I had some questions from residents as to how they can obtain a vaccine, how they can receive it. This is the best point of contact, point of information. Again, it's vaccinate.lacounty.com, and we'll be sharing it through our social media. So that you can see where you fall and there's an approximate timeline, very rough approximate timeline as to when you can be looking to receive a vaccine. Right now, we're in tier 1 for LA County from phase 1, which is a lot of the medical providers. So you could go ahead and check that out. Also, in regards to testing sites, I want to point you to the website covid19.lacounty.gov. Again, I'll link both of these through my social media page, Alejandra Cortez Bell Gardens City Councilwoman. And you can go ahead and book your appointments. I know Councilmember Chavez mentioned that a lot of these are walk-ups. However, I would highly deter people from waiting so much time and walk-ups unless you absolutely need to, just because right now we're at the peak of the virus. We're at the peak of seeing the results from the New Year's Day celebration. So the less exposure we have, the better. Right now, there's 3 ways that we can help to safeguard our community. That's by staying at home, wearing our mask. And if we have the opportunity to get the vaccine in these early phases, please get the vaccine. I know I'm patiently, actually eagerly waiting for mine. It's a way to protect those that are vulnerable, but in the meantime, I'm staying home and I'm wearing my mask. Right now I'm at City Council, but we're wearing our masks and socially distancing as well. So I do want to emphasize that. We do have a food drive coming up, and our city manager mentioned it, but I also want to reiterate, we are not taking volunteers for this food drive. We've taken volunteers for every single food drive, but in order to keep our staff safe, they're the ones that are going to be doing all the work. It's going to be more work for them, but that is the only way that we can control a little bit more their interactions with other humans, seeing that we are at the peak of this virus. So we're not taking volunteers. We're not taking members from the community unless you're going to receive your your meals. We are asking for you to have your windows rolled up. So if you could clear your trunk, that way our staff has as little interaction with you as possible. And everybody else who's eager to volunteer will have other opportunities later on, but at this time we're not taking volunteers. Lastly, I do want to give direction staff if we can look into, and this is also for our city attorney, possibly developing a code of conduct for our commissioners, some guidelines, because we have received different comments over the last year. And that way we can better guide our commissioners as to what is appropriate and what's not appropriate when representing the city of Bell Gardens. With that said, have a safe evening. Everybody, please stay safe. Wear your mask. If you feel sick, please stay home. Have a good night.
Thank you, Councilmember Cortez. Councilmember Flores.
Like everybody else said, Happy New Year, Bell Gardens. Obviously, this is not the this is the beginning of a new year, and we don't want to, continue to spread the, virus and make sure that the surge remains low. So please stay home. I know that you guys have continued to hear this over and over, but it's really important. Like Councilwoman Cortez says, we are at the peak of it. And just today, I had a doctor's appointment with my 9-month-old son, and the doctor talked to me about a new virus that is affecting children. So please, if you're running errands, don't feel the need to take your kid. If you have someone that can help you, I know that as parents, as a mom, I understand that sometimes we just don't have anybody and we have to take our kids. But if we have someone, please take advantage of that, because it's extremely dangerous for our children as well. And given that they can't wear a mask, we're putting them at a higher risk. Also, I want to highlight on Mr. Gus Romo. Guess in the last few months, many residents have reached out to me for help because they're being evicted from their homes. And you've been the person that I've pointed to, and you've given these residents the tools necessary so that they may not be evicted. And in some cases, I know that you call the landlords yourself, and that is not within your scope of duties. That's not what the city is here for, but we are here to serve our residents. And I know that you have gone above and beyond for them. So I want to thank you and highlight you as someone who has, helped our residents stay and have a place and not, lose their shelter. So thank you so much, Gus, for that. And also to Roseanne, we have what is called, hang on a second, I don't want to get it wrong. It is the Community Family Service Center at Veterans Park. It's actually fairly new, so if you don't know about it, and if you are experiencing homelessness or a food shortage, sometimes we go through food deserts here in our city, know that you can always go to the Veterans Park, and this department is here to help you. Thank you so much, Roseanne. I know that in the middle, like really late at night, we've helped house different people. So thank you for your efforts, and for the women that are in your department that help other women get housed, specifically some folk that I'm not going to mention, but it's been life-changing for them. So thank you, Roseanne, for what you're doing, and for how you've helped them so much. So I really, really appreciate that. But moving forward, I just want to address the comments from Mr. Barsana. You're saying that you did not want to approve my commissioners because there's an investigation. So you're investigating residents? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Christian Mendez was most recently a candidate. I know that we tend to sometimes hold on to grudges, but the campaign is over. And, Christian is a business owner here in the city and a resident. And, he deserves to be in a commission because he would do a great job representing. Just to, bring up the elections, he did do better than our incumbent, who's been here for over 20-something years. And so he's someone that the community does know and does deserve a place here. He's a very he's a well-educated person and deserves this position. So I hope that you're not holding this against him because I abstained when you appointed Mr. De Leon. You see, Mr. De Leon was a resident here in the city, but according to the address that he provided, that person does not live there. There's another woman that lives at that address. So I abstained for legal purposes, because in the event that someone were to bring up that he's no longer a resident of Bell Gardens, but rather a resident of Norwalk, they need to make sure that knowing somewhat of some information, I abstain from that because I'm not 100% sure. So that's why I did what I did. But I don't believe that it's fair, or transparent for us to, hold that against residents such as Christian or even Isabel, who are actual residents of the city of Bell Gardens. So on the next meeting, I will attempt to appoint them again, and hopefully your investigation or whatever it is that you are conducting, your personal stuff is over so that these residents can, be a part of this commission because they so rightly deserve to be a part of it. And before I finish, I just want to thank Adriana's Insurance, who hosted a toy giveaway here in our city. Jarritos was here, and they gave away the Jarritos drinks, and they gave away chocolate molds from Chocolate Ibarra, and it was amazing. It was a great turnout. They had women on stilts, they had toy soldiers and nutcrackers, and the chief was there the entire time from beginning to end. Thank you, Chief. I know that you recently battled COVID, and it's crazy to me that you were just out here strong, pulling forward, and the community is so happy to see you and everybody responsible to you. And you were taking pictures with all the kids, and you were giving out stickers. So thank you so much, Chief, for really being there for our community, because I know that it's your day off and you drove here and you didn't have to be here, but it is very much appreciated. So thank you so much, Chief. And just to reiterate what Mr. Chavez said, there is a new pop-up site here in the Southeast in Huntington Park. Please take advantage of it. The county is really trying to help us out here with providing us with testing locations, and we need to take advantage of those resources because the Black and Brown community has been, devastated by this virus. So it's important that we take advantage of it. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to our Congresswoman Lucio Royba, who happened to be at the Capitol voting, and when insurgents to say took over the Capitol and put their lives at risk, our very democracy at risk. That was selfish. It was done by spineless people and did cowardly acts and put our own, put our democracy at risk. So thank you so much, Lucio Royba, for your work. Thank you for going back and showing them that what do women do? But when things get done, we go back after the mess and we clean up and we get to work. So thank you so much. I was a very proud constituent of yours that day, and to everybody else that went back to Congress that night to vote. So with that, everybody, please stay home, stay safe, and call us if you need us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Flores. And now we are going to listen to Mayor Pro Tem Pulido.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to share that I recently, and I was fortunate enough to receive the COVID vaccine first dose on the 2nd. The only side effect that I did experience, I know that a lot of people are scared, is that I had some soreness in the injection site, but that was it. Within 2 days, the soreness was gone. I am scheduled to get the second dose on the 23rd, and I will share with you any side effects that come with that. The administration of the vaccine itself was very easy. I didn't feel any pain. The nurse that gave me the vaccine was very good. So I encourage you that once you do get the vaccine available to you, you take it. It's about saving lives, right? So even though I do get tested on a regular basis because I do work in healthcare, even though I got the vaccine recently, I will continue to wear a mask, wash my hands, social distance, because every time we do that, we're slowing down the spread of this deadly virus. And taking all of these precautions are my way of showing how much I respect the lives of others. So I will continue to do that every single day. So I encourage you to do the same. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Pulido. And now I will be providing my comments. First of all, I just want to respond to Councilmember Flores' remark. I want to assure you that this really has nothing to do with any elections thing or any of that. This is strictly just me doing my due diligence in regards to the investigation that's currently taking place right now. And I actually hope to be able to just vote to approve this in the future. As you say, you do plan to bring it up again. And if we all have a clarification of what's really going on, then I really look forward to voting. But I just wanted to address that, so thank you. And now my public comments, I want to bring something up. I know that you may have heard or not that there are, that mail has been missing. Well, not missing, but it hasn't been delivered to a large portion of our community. I just want to point out to our residents that we're not necessarily responsible for the U.S. Postal Service and the delivery of mail. However, I would like to give direction for City Hall or our staff to check in, if possible, with the post office to see what's going on, because I've received several reports that mail hasn't been delivered for a week or two already. So just want to ask if we can please just make a couple of calls, look into it to see if there's some information that we can provide our residents as to why this is happening. Maybe there's something that they can instruct us about. Now, I wanted to bring up a few ways that we can improve our meetings, and I believe one of them we're already working on, so I want to let our residents know about it. As we all know, we have a large Spanish-speaking population, and we have an interpreter that when we were open to the public in person, our interpreter was able to give people headsets and they were able to tune into a meeting in Spanish. Well, I know that we currently still have the translator, but there is a number that we need to call in addition to tuning into the meeting virtually. So what I'm trying to work on is maybe having two links, one of them entirely in Spanish with a translator audio on it, and another one how we currently have it. And the reason for that is because some of our residents, they're not technically inclined, so it'll be very challenging for them to tune in to the online meeting and then have to call a separate number and then listen. It's just, so I'm working with staff on ways to improve that. I just wanted to put that out there that I am conscious that it's a little bit of a challenge for our Spanish speaking population. So I will provide more updates as we move forward in the year. We also have, I wanted to make a remark about our attendance and the attendance of maybe our commissioners in the commissioner meetings. I just want to encourage everyone to log in with video. I know that sometimes things come up and either for technical reasons or other issues, but I really do want to encourage everyone that if you can log in with video, I think that is really helpful and it sort of motivates our community to watch you guys and be involved in the process of these public meetings. So I might be bringing this up at future meetings, but I want to maybe even potentially come up with a policy for that. That's something to be discussed in another meeting. But I am working actively on that right now. So the last thing I want to talk about here is the event that we have scheduled. It's a food distribution event. We have it scheduled for the 19th. And our staff was smart enough and creative enough to incorporate several things into that. So I want to talk about why it was, we decided to make it a Martin Luther King event. And we also decided to make it an inauguration celebration for our incoming president. It's been a tough year. You know, we've had incidents like what happened at the Capitol. So it's no secret that politically, these have been very difficult times. And I think that celebrating the fact that we still have a democracy here in our country is something that if we have an opportunity to do it, we're going to do it. We had someone, one of the city attorney suggested that we can jump on board with some of the other cities that are also celebrating the inauguration of the president. And I decided that it would be a great idea to kind of merge these things together. So we're not actually spending any city funds apart from our staff. All the other things like the food that we're giving out are actual donations. So this is just a great charity event, and it's a great way to remember that we still have a strong democracy and that we also believe in civil rights, you know, by celebrating Martin Luther King and his anniversary. So I want to invite everyone to, if you don't need the food, please go ahead and just talk to your neighbors. Those of your neighbors that may be in need, those of your neighbors that are struggling right now, we do have the help right now. So please contact us or go to the distribution. I know that it's only for Bell Gardens residents. So if you're a Bell Gardens resident, this is an actual benefit to you. So I want to thank staff more than anyone because, as I said, this was not necessarily my idea. I sort of helped bring it up and staff figured out a creative way to make it happen. So I want to thank you guys for such a great gesture and such a great message to put out there to our community. Other than that, I want to say Happy New Year. I want to say that I have a very hopeful outlook for this year. There might be a lot of difficult decisions for us to take, but I think that we have a strong council. Each and every one of us has assets that they bring to the community, and I'm looking forward to working together to improve the lives of all of our residents. And when I say that everyone has strengths, I really do mean it. So I appreciate each and every one of you here, and also our staff. Absolutely, without our staff, we couldn't do it. And that's all I have for my comments. At this point, I will move forward to adjourning the meeting. Everyone, please take care and be safe. And hopefully you guys can tune in for the next meeting as well. Have a good night.
Good night.
I just like doing this.
Good night.